All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And in the last video that I did for the Rankin Technical College AWD or Application and Website Development 1100 C# Programming Fundamentals class, I did this problem on convert Fahrenheit to Celsius console, where we inputted a Fahrenheit value that had to be between -100 and +212, and we converted it to Celsius. One thing I was thinking about here, we don't have to do this, but I'm going to create another variable here. So I'm going to say double, we'll call it temp var for temporary variable, and we're going to set it equal to, now remember, if I do this, if I say 5 divided by 9, which I can do. All right, first of all, if I was going to do that, I would put it in parentheses. All right, but let's, my guess is that even though it is that and we're putting it into a double, okay, since I'm dividing an integer by an integer, okay, in fact, let's make this simpler. Let's do this. Where we've got our 5/9, why don't we change that to this? Oops, try it one more time. Get rid of all of this times 5.0 divided by 9.0. How about that? And we will run this program once again to make sure I didn't break anything, and then we'll start on the next one. So again, put in our out of range values. -101 doesn't take it. 213 doesn't take it. 100 gives us 37.8. Great. 212 gives us, whoops, well, that's okay. 212 should give us 100. We want to run it again. Yes. Let's just try a negative. How about 0? Negatives, it all looks great. Okay, so I changed that to 5.0 divided by 9.0. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to start up another session of Visual Studio, and this time we're going to write the GUI for this. Now, so far, basically all of the GUIs we've done have pretty much I'm saying, look the same. That's okay. All right, and this one will be called Fahrenheit to Celsius GUI. Okay, that should create it. I just hit enter. Normally I'd click the create button, but I think it is creating it for us. There it is. I'm going to move over my toolbox. There that is. I want plenty of room here for my, there we go. This shouldn't have to be very big. That should be big enough. All right, let's make our superficial changes that we always make. So let's change this from form to form. Fahrenheit to Celsius GUI. All right, there that is. So let's go to the text. Change that from form 1, remember that's this, and let's change that to Fahrenheit to Celsius temperature converter. Not a great name, but it'll work. That's what we've got now here. As always, I don't like to use the boring color that's there, so I'm going to change my background color. Oh, what haven't we used yet? How about a turquoise? There we go. All right. I'm going to put in 2 labels. One which will say Fahrenheit temperature. The other one which will say Celsius temperature. So we'll go to label here. Alright, first of all, let's change the background color of the label. Let's make it one shade darker so it'll stand out. And let's do the auto size on it. Set that to false. You've seen this before. Okay. And we are going to set the text, make it nice and big. This is not a very big program. Not a lot in it. Let's make it 14 this time. You know already that I like Arial. Arial bold 14. That's looking pretty good. As far as the text alignment, let's make it centered. Oh, that's the text. Text align. There. Now, let's just, for now, we'll just put in here Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit temperature. That's okay that it looks like that. We'll stretch that out a bit. Okay. Let's put a colon at the end. There we go. Now I'm going to take this, Control C, Control V, make a copy, and I'm going to call this one Celsius equivalent. Okay, and that looks fine as far as I'm concerned. So let's change the name of this one from label 1 to label Fahrenheit temperature. H-R-E-N-T temperature. And let's change the name of this one to Celsius equivalent. Okay, now let's come in and add ourselves our first text box. Let's just put that there. Stretch it out. I'm going to set the multi-line property on it to true. Should be able to hopefully, no, there we go. Control copy, Control paste. There's another one. All right, this will be my text box Fahrenheit temperature. This will be my text box Celsius equivalent. All right, I'm going to add my 3 buttons. There is my first one. Stretch that out. I'm going to make that bigger. Kind of like that. Maybe a little smaller. So I'm going to try to see how nicely I can line this thing up. And it might be okay. It might not be. Well, looks like I want to take and make all these. Actually, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. All right. I'm going to make this nice and narrow. And here, I'm liking the way this is coming together. All right. My first button here will, as you know, will be my button Calculate. And it'll have the text on it, Calculate. My second button will have on it Clear, and it will be button Clear. And finally, my last one will have on it, it'll be button Exit, and it'll have on it Exit. I am going to lasso these 3 buttons, and I'm going to change the size of my font. Same thing that I did before. All right, 14 bold. Again, I like Arial. Okay, there's that. And I'm also going to change the font here. Once again to Arial bold 14 point, and finally on these I'm going to take both of them. I'm going to make the text align centered. Now I think this is looking the way I want, so I'm going to do a Control A to highlight everything, right mouse click, and choose Lock Controls. Now my interface is locked into place. Next, I'm going to click on the form. I am going to set my Accept button to Button Calculate. I'm going to set my Cancel button to Button Clear. I'm going to set my Start position to Center Screen. Finally, I'm going to set my tab order by doing a View, Tab Order. Where are we? Come on. View, Tab Order. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do another View Tab Order so the numbers go away. All right, I think I'm ready to get going. All right. Now, I like to do them in order, so that should bring up my Calculate. Good. This should bring up my Clear. Good. And finally, this should bring up my Exit. Good. Let's, for something different, when we clear, what do we want to do? 3 things. Clear this, put the focus right here. So let's do that. Button. Wow. Oh, did I not button, I'm sorry. Text box, Fahrenheit temperature dot text equals double quote. All right, text box Celsius equivalent dot text equals double quote. Text box Fahrenheit temperature dot focus. That's actually, to my knowledge at least, because this is a fairly simple program, that is the entire shooting match. That's everything. All right. For exit, again, sorry, I guess this mind is getting old, for lack of better words. But what I am going to do is I'm going to bring up an old program from here. I'm going to grab the entire, so let's grab the inches to centimeters GUI. I'm going to grab the entire exit routine. I should just take this code and put it someplace. All right, if I'm smart, I'll do that right now. So let's do that. I'm going to grab this right here, copy it to the clipboard. I'm going to quickly, hopefully, put it here. Now I've got that. All right. And now I can plop that right into my exit button code. There is the exit button, so we've got that. So now my program, for lack of better words, is kind of 2/3 of the way complete. Let's double check and make sure that works. File, save all. And let's run it. Should come up in the middle of the screen. So I have an error. Doesn't say any errors. Okay, try it again. There it is. Now, for right now, a couple things. That should have been centered, and it isn't. That should have been centered, and it isn't. And that should be read-only. All right. Clear works. Exit program now. No. Exit program now. Yes. And that works. Okay. Well, let's look and see why this didn't work. First of all, let's make this read-only. It is. Again, I don't like that gray look. Some of you might, but I'm going to make the same color as my labels. If for no other reason, now it kind of looks like a label. Okay, that's fine. What else did we say? These were not centered. The text in here were not center aligned. Text aligned. It still has left. Thought I set it to center. Evidently, I did not. Let's do another file. Save all. Let's run it one more time. Now we cannot enter anything in here because it's read-only. And we can put whatever we want in here for now. Calculate doesn't do anything. Clear. Boom, there we go. Okay, and exit already we proved works. So let's do the stuff for our exit routine. I'm sorry, for our calculate routine. But before we do, let's see what we can pilfer, so to speak, from our last program. All right, so I'm going to grab those two constants right there, and I'm going to put them down here, right there. All right, so I've got my constants. Remember, my constants are my minimum temperature and my maximum temperature. Now I'm going to copy some more, and some of it will probably give me an error. That's okay. All right, I don't need an again or a response, so I don't need those. I only need these two. All right, so that we can put in here. Okay, we've got those now. And again, we're just going to say Fahrenheit equals convert dot to double text box Fahrenheit thing dot text. Again, we're not doing complete data validation yet. We will be, but it's going to take a bit. All right, so just bear with me. Now, what we have in here for this while loop, this range validation, will become an if, but we can use that and we can use this. That's great. We literally should be done with this in no more than 5 minutes. All right, so this will become an if it's less than this or it's greater than that. Good. We don't want to write. We want another one of these message boxes, because that is an error condition. So it's out of range. Ask the user to re-enter. We'll just say that it's out of range. How's that? And now we'll put that in there, and it'll say inputted temp out of range, re-enter temp, and I'm going to just manually put it in here, -100 to 212, like that. All right, and here I'll put in out of, I like it in caps, it looks, just stands out to me then, out of range temperature inputted. All right, this will just be an OK, and this will be an error because that's what it is. After we do all that, we want to clear out what's in that text box. So dot text equals double quote, and we'll just want to return. All right, once we get down here, now we can do the calculation, and all right, we can put in we don't want the Fahrenheit text, we want the Celsius equivalent here. Text box Celsius, didn't I call it that? Text box, looks like it's got Celsius equivalent, so let's try it. Right. Text box Celsius equivalent dot text equals Celsius dot toString, and again we want that F1. And I think we'll need a semicolon at the end, believe it or not, and we'll come back and look at the text, but I think we're done. So let's look. If we put in something out of range, out of range temperature inputted temp out of range. Please re-enter temp, negative, yeah, etc. And it clears it, but it didn't put the focus. We got to do that. How about 212? Is this going to give us 100 here? It does. Good. How about 100? Does it give us 37.8? It does. How about 212? Does it give it 100? Good. Clear works. Exit works. I think we're finished. Except down here, we want to set the focus. All right, so let's go through this line by line. The last lecture was 30 minutes. This is already 21. So we'll see if we can do this in 5 minutes or so. Again, taking it from the top, I don't need those using statements there. So they're gone. This is almost exactly the same amount of lines as the equivalent that we just did for a console. Okay? So our two using statements are namespace, which is the name of our project. Here, partial class. Okay? And this means that this inherits from the foreign class. Don't worry about what that means. We'll get into it in a much later chapter. This is called a constructor. It's basically going to set everything up for us. Let's get down to here. Just like we had in the first one we did, the console, we have two at the top here, we have two constants. One that represents the smallest number we're allowing, one that represents the largest one that we're allowing. Let's do this one last. If we click the, so exit, code that runs when the exit button is clicked. Okay? That brings up our dialog box. It says, do you really want to exit? That's the text. Exit program now is the heading. It's got a yes button and a no button, and the icon is a question mark. If we click the yes, it exits the program. All right, here's our clear routine, which is pretty small, as you can see. It removes whatever is in the Fahrenheit text box, which again is that one. It removes whatever is in the Celsius equivalent text box, which is that one, and it sets the focus back there. That's all it does. All right, and then finally, we have the code that runs when the calculate button is clicked. All right, we declare our two variables. This is the numeric representation of this, and this is the numeric representation of this. All right, so we say Fahrenheit is equal to, take whatever we put into that text box and convert it to a double. Again, this program will break if we put something non-numeric into that first text box or we leave it blank. Just to prove it to you, I'm going to leave it blank and run it, and I'll get an error. All right, input string was not in the correct format. We're going to handle that and cover how you fix that later on in the text. Okay, so then we validate to make sure what we just entered was within range. If it's less than -100 or it's greater than +212, we give them an error message, really a dialog box that says inputted temp out of range, re-enter temp, and we tell them what the actual range is. The title for that is out of range temperature inputted. It's got only an OK button on it, and it's got an error icon. So once you click that OK, it's going to remove whatever you put into that text box. It's going to set the focus back there, and it's going to get the heck out of that routine. It's going to return. If the if is not true, no pun intended, we get down here, the user has inputted a Fahrenheit temperature which is within range. In other words, it is between -100 and +212. So we convert the inputted Fahrenheit temperature to its Celsius equivalent right there. Same formula we used before. Then we take with that Celsius temperature, convert it so it's just one decimal place, convert it to a string, and put it in the other text box. All right, so again, that's the entire program. If I come in here and I put in 100, notice I can just hit enter because that's my accept button. I can hit escape because that's my cancel button. 212, hit enter. You get the idea. All right. Clear works. That's out of range, so you get the error. Send you back. That's within range, so you get that. All right. It's not perfect by any means, but as far as I'm concerned, it's fairly functional. So what I have now done is I have now gone through all 10 of these. All right, I am going to come back in here. I guess I didn't have this. That's why this program will be a little longer than the other one, because I did not put at the beginning here, I did not put in the comment that I had in the other one, which is right here. So that's going to make it about 4 or 5 lines, probably, whatever, longer than the other program was. All right. And my comment, I'm making it a little narrower too, for whatever reason. It just worked out that way. So this will probably be closer to 80 lines. Okay, that'll probably be closer to about 80 lines when all is said and done here. 83 lines. Whereas the other program, the console equivalent of this, was about 70 lines. 68. So there's about 15 lines of difference. Notice that's only 4 lines long. And I'm going to stop that now. I don't need this one anymore here. And this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines long. Okay? All right. That pretty much is it. I'm going to run it one last time. Convince myself that it's okay. Out of range. Error message. Out of range on the negative. Error message. In range. That is correct. Clear works. I can hit enter, or I can click the calculate button. I can hit escape or click the clear button. Exit, no, exit, yes. That's it. So I have now gone over all 10 of the problems on the worksheet. Thanks.